Welcome to my channel, Achino Gola the lawyer, Karibuni Sana, and today is Civic Tuesday. You're going to be doing a little bit of civic education, and today I'm going to be talking about chapter 10, which is on the judiciary. You're going to be looking at the system of the courts, what our judicial system is all about. So tune in, and if you enjoy the video, like, share and subscribe. Now, the first important thing to note is that judicial authority is derived from the people and it vests in the courts and the tribunals. Now, the tribunals and the courts are supposed to be guided by certain principles while exercising the judicial authority. Among them is, first of all, that they should ensure that justice is administered without regard to status or irrespective of status. This means that all classes of Kenyans should be able to access justice. The second principle is that justice should be administered without regard to procedural technicalities. Sometimes we see that courts allow people to file documents out of time. This is because certain minor technicalities should not bar someone from accessing justice. The third one, is that alternative dispute resolution mechanisms are to be considered. And the fourth one is that the exercising of the judicial authority should be in accordance with the Constitution. Now, even as we look at the various system of the courts which exercise this judicial authority, it's important to note that in Kenya there are superior courts and that there are subordinate courts. Now, superior courts are three. The first one is the Supreme Court, the second one is the Court of Appeal, the third one is the High Court, in that order. Now let us examine the High Court. The High Court has a composition of 7 judges. The first one is the Chief Justice, of course, who is the head of the judiciary. The second Supreme Court judge is the Deputy Chief Justice, who deputizes the Chief Justice and is the deputy head of the judiciary. Then there are 5 other judges. Now, if you look at how these judges are to be appointed, this is provided for in other legislations, which I will not delve into right now. But chief among the certain considerations, of course, is that they should have had at least 15-year experience in practice or as a judge. And of course, now they should be people of good standing. I mean, the things provided for under the leadership and integrity, they should have complied with all that. Now, we should also understand what is the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court cannot listen to all matters. Its jurisdiction is defined in the Constitution and it's very limited. Number one, the Supreme Court only has jurisdiction to listen to election petitions from the Supreme Court only has jurisdiction to listen to the following matters. Number one, disputes arising out of the presidential election. Now, this we have seen in the 2017 matter on how the Chief Justice was able to annul the presidential elections. So that's one of the major areas in which the Supreme Court has jurisdiction. The second one, the Constitution provides that the Supreme Court also has jurisdiction to listen to any matter that is of public concern or that involve the interpretation of the Constitution. Also, the Court of Appeal can certify a matter to be heard by the Supreme Court, of which the Supreme Court will examine that matter if it has the jurisdiction to listen to it. So as we are seeing, that the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court is very limited, and not all matters can go straight to the Supreme Court. It's also important to note that the Supreme Court also gives advisory opinions on the request by either houses, that's the Senate or the National Assembly. So like, for example, on the matters of the 2/3 gender rule or the allocation of revenue, the Supreme Court has been able to advise the houses on how to go about those matters. Now we are going to look at the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal is the second highest court, and there's an important thing I've forgotten to say about the Supreme Court. It is that all other courts are bound by its decisions because it's the highest court of the land. So all other courts from the Court of Appeal downwards are bound by the decisions of the Supreme Court. So now, even as you're looking at the Court of Appeal, which I've said is the second highest court in the land, we should be able to understand that the Court of Appeal listens to appeals from the lower courts, like the High Court. No, the Court of Appeal listens to appeals from the High Court. Yes, that's the major jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal, and it's also any other jurisdiction that has been conferred to it by any legislation. Now, the Court of Appeal should not have less than 12 judges. It is important to note that the Court of Appeal is in circuit in Kenya because it's not in all the counties, the 47 counties of Kenya. So then we have the High Court. Now the High Court has exclusive original jurisdiction. This means it can listen to any matter of a civil or criminal nature. It listens to matters involving the interpretation of the Constitution, matters in which the Bill of Rights have been contravened, and also there are other two courts which have the status of the High Court. That is the Employment and Labor Relations Court and the Land and Environment Court. So these first three superior courts, which I've said, the Supreme Court, the Court of Appeal, and the High Court, have specific legislations that govern their administration and day-to-day running, the rules of procedure, and that I will delve into in another video. So also as we are looking at the judiciary, it's important to talk about the independence of the judiciary, because we have seen there's been an affront or an attack on the judiciary, and we should understand that the judiciary is an arm of government, just as the other two arms of government, the executive and the legislature, and it has its head, who is the Chief Justice. Now, in the independence of the judiciary, the Constitution clearly provides that the judiciary is independent. Okay, it is separate from the other arms of government, and it exercises its authority in accordance to the Constitution. Additionally, it provides that no judicial officer shall be liable in an action or a suit while discharging their duties, for an act or omission while discharging their duties. This is meant to provide immunity to the judges or judicial officers or magistrates while exercising their constitutional mandates. Also, we should note that while looking at the independence of the judiciary, that the judiciary is not to be controlled or subject to any person. It is just subject to the Constitution. So we've seen cases in which sometimes some politicians want to try and control the actions of the judiciary, but we have learned that it is important for the judiciary to act and speak on its own and to carry out its functions on its own. Now, we are going to go to the lower courts. Now, the lower courts are comprising of 4 courts. The first one is the Magistrates Court, the second one is the Kadhi's Court, the third one is the Court Martial, and the fourth one are the tribunals. Now, there are different classes of magistrate courts which I will not delve into, but it's important to note that now these are the other courts which there are rules which provide of which the types of cases that can be lodged in these courts. Of course, these courts, we know it's for Muslims, and court martials mostly involve issues regarding the armed forces. So I hope you've been able to understand what, in a nutshell, the judiciary is all about, and that there are various provisions about the judiciary and the system of the legal system in which we are in. Maybe I could talk just a little bit about it, that the legal system, our legal system is adversarial in nature. And that's why sometimes someone might feel it's the highest bidder who wins, but in the real case, or what it is that everyone presents their case, and the one who's able to argue out their case best is the one who will be able to win the case at the end. So I hope you've been able to learn something little about our judiciary. If you enjoyed the video, like, share and subscribe.